What's up, everybody, and welcome to Read the Bible with me. I'm Stan Jr., and today we're looking at chapter 19 of the book of 2 Kings. Been reading the book of 2 Kings for 19 days now, and I'm so excited about what God is doing through this book, through this chapter that we're about to read. If you are new here, go ahead and click the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. If you are a Bible Club member, thank you so much. We buy Bibles every single month and we send them to people that need them, that are persecuted, that can't practice their faith openly, as well as we send missionaries to the mission field with your lifetime donation of $10. And I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for all of you that you're able to support this ministry in that way. Let's look at chapter 19, verse 1. It says, "As soon as King Hezekiah heard it, he tore his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebna, the secretary, and the senior priests, covered with sackcloth, to the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amoz. They said to him, 'Thus says Hezekiah, this day is a day of distress, of rebuke, and of disgrace. Children have come to the point of birth, and there is no strength to bring them forth. It may be that the Lord your God heard all the words of Rabshakeh, whom his master the king of Assyria has sent to mock the living God, and will rebuke the words that the Lord your God has heard. Therefore lift up your prayer for the remnant that is left.' When the servants of the king Hezekiah came to Isaiah, Isaiah said to them, 'Say to your master, thus says the Lord, do not be afraid, because the words that you have heard, with which the servants of the king of Assyria have reviled me, behold, I will put a spirit in him, so that he shall hear a rumor and return to his own land, and I will make him fall by the sword in his own hand.'" And so now we see the prophet Isaiah here, who is an extremely important prophet, which we really don't get much into him until after. And this is, y'all, the Bible isn't in chronicle order, but and I know where Isaiah is. There it is. Until after we already did Song of Solomon, but till after Song of Solomon. So we'll go to that one, and we see we got some time to read, but he's already inserted into the story, and he's inserted into the story because he's a prophet, a person that hears the voice of God for the people of God. And so he's speaking on behalf of the Lord, and he tells them it's going to be okay. Don't be worried about anything, because God's going to come through for you. And he says, "And Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria fighting against Libnah, for he heard that the king had left Lachish. Now the king heard concerning Tirhakah, king of Cush. Behold, he had set out to fight against you. So he sent messengers again to Hezekiah, saying, 'Thus shall you speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah. Do not let your God, in whom you trust, deceive you by promising that Jerusalem will not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria.'" So he's saying, don't believe in your God. If you trust in your God, you're going to lose the battle. And they're saying, no, we got to trust in our God, because he's going to be the one that wins the battle for us. Right? And so they're saying, we believe in God. We don't trust in man. We don't trust in your chariots or the Egyptians' chariots or horsemen. We trust in God. And so Hezekiah is saying, no. Behold, you have heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the lands. He said, you heard how mean this dude is. You heard how crazy this guy is. He's been killing a lot of people. And he's saying, you need to pay attention to that, and devoting them to destruction, and shall you be delivered? He's saying you got something up your sleeve, because this guy's coming for you. He says, "Have the gods of the nations delivered them? The nations of my fathers destroyed Gozan, Haran, Rezeph, and the people of Eden who were in Tessalar? Where is the king of Hamath, the king of Arpad, the king of the city of Sepharvaim, the king of Hena, the king of Iva, Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed before the Lord. Look at Hezekiah's posture. The first thing he's doing is praying before God, asking God for help. He's not asking another king or another nation, another army for help. He's asking God for help first. He prayed before the Lord and said, O Lord, the God of Israel, enthroned above the cherubim, you are the God, you alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. You have made heaven and earth. Incline your ear, O Lord, and hear. Open your eyes, O Lord, and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which he has sent to mock the living God. Truly, O Lord, the kings of Assyria have laid waste to the nations and their lands, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were not gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they were destroyed. So now, O Lord, our God, save us, please, from his hand, that all the kingdom of the earth may know that you, O Lord, are God alone. Then Isaiah the son of Amos sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, your prayer to me about Sennacherib, king of Assyria, I have heard. This is the word that the Lord has spoken concerning him. This is Isaiah's prophecy to Hezekiah. She despises you, she scorns you, the virgin daughter of Zion. She was her head behind you, she wags her head behind you, the daughter of Jerusalem. Whom have you mocked and reviled? Against whom have you raised your voice and lifted your eyes to the heights against the Holy One of Israel? By your messengers you have mocked the Lord, and you have said, With my many chariots I have gone up the heights of the mountains, to the far recesses of Lebanon. I have felled its tallest cedars, its choicest cypresses. I entered its farthest lodging place, its most fruitful forests. I dug wells, I drank foreign waters, and I dried up with the sole of my foot all the streams of Egypt. Have you not heard that I determined it long ago? I planned from days of old. What now I bring to pass, that you should turn fortified cities into heaps of ruins, while their inhabitants, shorn of strength, are dismayed and confounded, and have become like plants in the field, and like tender grass, like grass on the housetops, blighted before it is grown. But I know you're sitting down, and you're going out and coming in, and you're raging against me, because you have raised against me, and your complacency has come into my ears. I will put my hook in your nose and my bit in your mouth, and I will turn you back on the way by which you came. And this shall be the sign for you. This year eat what grows of itself, and in the second year what springs of that same. Then in the third year sow and reap and plant vineyards and eat their fruit. And the surviving remnant of the house of Judah shall again take root downward and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go a remnant, and out of Mount Zion a band of survivors. The zeal of the Lord will do this. Therefore thus says the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, or shoot an arrow there, or come before it with a shield, or cast up a siege mound against it. By the way that he came, by the same he shall return. And as he shall not come into this city, declares the Lord, for I will defend this city to save it for my own sake and for the sake of my servant David. Remember, God is never blessing you just for you. He's blessing you because somebody else's prayers. And that's why you need to be praying for somebody else right now, because when they get blessed, it'll be because you prayed. God is fulfilling a word to somebody else. That's why you're living the life that you're living. And that night the angel of the Lord went and struck down 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians. So the Lord went to battle for them, because Hezekiah trusted in him. He didn't trust in anybody else. He prayed to the Lord first. He sought him. He asked for direction from the prophet of God. And the Lord came and fought his battle. And when the people arose early in the morning, behold, these were all dead bodies. Then Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went home and lived in Nineveh. And as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, his god, Adremelech and Sharezer, his son, struck him down with the sword and escaped into the land of Arat. And Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his place. That was chapter 19 of the book of 2 Kings. Powerful, powerful chapter where we see the Lord moving in a big and mighty way for the king of Hezekiah because of his trust in him. One of the first and last kings to do it like he did. All right, so let us see his life as an example, and so we can maybe, trust in God like Hezekiah did. We can only pray to trust God like Hezekiah did. Love y'all. Thank you so much for reading with me. If you'd like to become a patron and support this ministry, Read the Bible with me, please click the link in my description. You can go do that. Chapter 19 of the book of 2 Kings. God bless you. Next time I see you, we'll be reading chapter 20. Peace.